On this episode of Pimp My Setup, I'm going to be talking about your setups you submitted for tips, tricks, feedback, and much more. So if you're interested in that, then sit back, relax, and interact because the show starts now.
It's time for the original setup show dedicated to providing you with tips, tricks, and feedback to pimp out your setup. Hosted by Matt Philly with new special guests every week. Coming at you live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pimp My Setup, episode number 128, recorded live on August 11th, 2016. Can you believe it? We're already like almost halfway through August. Insane. Can't believe it. I did start to go through the queue a little bit, but I still have now 250 setups to go through. So if you have not received a reply, stay tuned. If you are accepted, you will get a reply. PimpMySetup.com/queue is the place to go for that. But without further ado, let's just get into it. And the first setup of the day is submitted by Lukas. Lukas is from Sweden. Now, I don't know what the rules are like in Sweden, but he said he's been driving motorcycles for almost 10 years now. So like this 5-year-old's hopping on a Harley Davidson. He's like, yeah, he's got like a cigar and he's like, let's do this shit. So I don't know what it's like over there. Maybe he's talking about dirt bikes as well, but yeah, not sure. Maybe someone could fill me in. And then he also said that he's in high school right now. His favorite game is CSGO. He does schoolwork on the left side, hence the separation of everything, keeping himself completely to the right, whereas everything else, that open space is on the left. And then let's see, he's got his right front speaker on the left. What? He's from Sweden, so his English is a little off, but okay, we'll worry about that later on. Anyways, I don't know. I can't really. What the? There's like some big ass truck. Anyways, taking a look at this though. He's 15 years old, and yeah, I understand what you're going for here. You want to have that separation so that you do have space to put the paper down and everything. But look what it's done to your desk. Your keyboard is half on the mouse pad and half off. I don't like that. I do think that it actually, in most cases, makes a like a slant, and it's really kind of annoying. And I wouldn't like it if it was my setup. But also, this kind of desk, you should be sitting in the middle. And you know what? I think that you could still make it work. Something I do a lot with my setup if I ever need to, I do have a separate table that's attached for me to, have all the room I need for papers and stuff. But if I ever just want to do in front of my monitors, I just take the keyboard and I just put it to the side, and then I have this whole open area to, do whatever I need to do. So I definitely think you need to center yourself. I think that's a big part of this. But at the same time, you do have a lot of weird things that kind of make it. Like, for instance, you have this, I guess, like a preamp thing or whatever for your inputs, which I'm trying to figure out what you even have going into that. I don't see, like, a fancy microphone or anything. But with that, like, it is sort of weird. You don't know where you could, if you center the monitor, where you're going to put that. Is it going to be at an angle? How are you going to make it work? Personally, I put it off to the right side onto the little dresser or something, or you got to figure out a new spot. But I do think you should center yourself. What do you guys think in the chat? Should he center himself or no? I think that's, personally, I do not like when the keyboard's on the mouse pad, and that's kind of how I feel about this. But in terms of everything else, like cable management's not bad. You got a lot of cool little things all around the room, like the little motorcycle. I thought that was cool. You got the little M&M box. It's nice. It's a cool setup, but I do think it's lacking maybe some love on the wall. Maybe picture you like being a beast on a motorcycle right above would be cool. But I do think, yeah, it's something that you can work on. But anyways, let's go to the next setup. Next setup of the day is submitted by, if I could get this to load, Robert. Robert is 23 years old from upstate New York, loves to play video games and also spend time with his 2 daughters. As you can see, for having 2 kids, his setup is actually clean. He's sorry for the wire management, but it's the best he could do, and he wants some advice. So taking a look at this, yeah, first off, knowing sort of your situation kind of makes things different in my eyes. You're not necessarily 100% worried about how everything looks because you do have a family and you don't spend all your time there, but at the same time you did a great job keeping it clean. It looks pretty good. Wire management, yeah, I can sort of understand, like you have coming out of the monitor, you need to get some wire mold for that. That would help a lot. But the big issue with this setup, and I think everybody's seeing it, the desk is awful. You're setting yourself off to the left side and your monitor it's beautiful. It's an ultra wide, looks great and everything, but you're not centered to it. You're looking at the far left side. Very unusable. I do not like that, and I think it's really the only problem with your setup. But you have the dream catcher, you have all this cool stuff, but that desk just ruins it. You need to have an open space, sort of like the last desk we saw would have been perfect here. If it was black, it would have looked great. You could put your computer under the desk off to the left side, and you'd be sitting front and center, and it would work. But here, you have the keyboard tray, you have this like sectioned off middle piece that's really just ruining the flow of everything, and I think that's really your only issue. And seeing that you have all the cool stuff on the wall and the dream catcher and all that stuff, I am honestly disappointed that you don't have anything above. I would like to see something go up there, but yeah, I just, you know what, I just wish that you had a different desk. The desk ruins this setup, and I think now you could just, you're old enough, 23, I think you could do it. I think you buy a new desk, so definitely look into that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a Linmon, $40-$50 and call it a day. But now let's go to the next setup. Next setup of the day is submitted by Tim. Tim is 21, living in Sweden in a small apartment. Nothing fancy, but he tries to make the most of it. His hobbies include playing guitars, recording music, graphic design, and gaming, of course. He said that he knows the chair doesn't match the color scheme, but it's the only one he could find. And you could see it in that far back shot, the panoramic, and they only had it in red. So he said, "What the heck?" And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. A lot of people, they like to go crazy if things don't match perfectly, but I don't think you have really necessarily like a huge color theme going on with the green. It's just LEDs behind the monitors and in the case, and yeah, a little bit on lines around the case, but still, I don't think that's like end of the world. I'm not gonna cry about it. But in the third photo, your cable management pretty damn good. The cables. The second photo, my bad. If you look at that, you see like you have the cable off to the left. It's Velcroed or taped. I can't really tell. Looks good. It's off to the side. I'm not going to worry about it. Off to the other side, maybe do the same thing. Tighten those up a little bit. But that's like, you probably move that amp around or whatever. I'm just nitpicking here. But it is a great desk. You have a lot of room there. And then this is a great example. You set yourself into the middle. You have all the room in the world. TV, not entirely sure about what that's doing. I don't know if you have a bed in the same room and that's like, off to the, yeah, so okay, that kind of makes sense. I guess maybe the mount moves a little, otherwise it's a little off to the side, but regardless, I mean, some people are commenting about the mismatching monitors. I don't necessarily care in this scenario. I think it works. It is what it is. I like the Alex riser. Works great here because you do have the room to fit all your stuff underneath. Your speakers, everything's good. It's nice. Get a headphone stand. I'll keep saying that throughout this episode, I think. And yeah, I mean, if you want to stick with a color theme or you want to like mix it and do the Christmas, whatever, maybe do some splash of that on the wall. I don't know how much you could do to the walls, but I love the guitars. I really think it helps a lot. So props there. Not a bad setup at all. And knowing that you're in a small apartment, you definitely made it work. So good job there. Let's go to the next setup. The next setup of the day is submitted by Liam. Liam says, yo, dogs, I'm 15. He was on episode 42, but he's moved houses and he uses this setup mostly for gaming and a little bit of video editing. And I feel this works for me. I can't think of anything to add besides a microphone, which he's trying to get right now. And the side desk are for LANs. Okay. And he still needs to buy another chair and monitor for the left desk. So taking a look at this, yeah, this is like, first off, that's the beauty of moving homes after knowing sort of how to build a setup, because sometimes you're stuck in a room, you build the setup, and then really to make the big changes, you got to change a lot. And it's going to be, paint on the walls, brand new furniture. It's like starting completely over. And in this scenario, moving to a new house, it's like, great. I start from step one. I know what I want to do, and you kind of make it work. And in this scenario, you did make it work. The desk, all that stuff, really, really, really nice. I think the floor is very interesting. How that works. I don't know if that's just like a piece laying on top of your carpet, I guess, for the chairs to actually move around. I don't know. You don't have them in front of yours. But I think the posters are cool. I can see you really like symmetry, Not that they're the same ones, but they're basically the same ones, so that's cool. And I like how it flows through with what you're interested in. And I like that you're able to have a setup, for LANs. I don't know too many people that can have such a badass setup, especially at your age of 15. I mean, that's pretty damn nice. But your setup itself, as we look into the closer photo, it's nice. Everything seems to work good. You have a big ass mouse pad, you have your tablet, and then you have triple monitor setup. Everything seems to be pretty damn good, on point, and I like that, and I give you props for that. Really though, I think you kind of nailed everything on the head. You have your headphone stand, you have all the things you could possibly need. I just think I don't know, I really want to know how big this room actually is. Like, I wish I could see more shots further back. I think that would be very interesting. But yeah, really cool setup. And yeah, and someone said usually the carpet is on top of the floor. Yeah, but look at that, it looks like pieces of yeah, it's like a piece of wood. So ha. But yeah, there's probably wood underneath that, I would assume. But anyway, so that's going to do it for that setup. Let's go to the next setup. The next setup of the day is submitted by Rico. Rico, yeah, he's 13 years old, and he's got a sick-ass staircase. I mean, look at that. That's a dope-ass staircase, and I love that he's got the under staircase desk situation sort of going on here, and I really like that. He's from Switzerland, and he's been working for about 2 years to get this to happen. You know, he's 13, rough life, trying to figure things out. But yeah, wow. I mean, super cool. It's got like this modern next level look to it. You know, cable management, we just kind of see it in the second photo. It's good. You know, it's all up there, and what you have to bring down is nicely managed. So I have no problems there. I think it's nice. It's got good speakers, peripherals, things like that. It's got the Alex riser. He's got the shelf above. Although I don't technically think all that stuff up there is like super cool. Like, he's got some cool stuff, you know, like the camera and all that. And he's into Minecraft, which is cool. We see that. But I think one thing is a little off. Like, I don't know if he ever has to unplug his Mac in the left corner. But it definitely, if you have to, it's kind of in a tucked away position. But nonetheless, that's what's running his setup. So maybe he never has to. It's simple, it's to the point. It works. It's good. It's nice. And it's different. It's something special, and I give you props for being 13. I mean, dude, you're living the life. It's a nice ass setup, and yeah, I think it's clean. I don't think there's really anything else to bash about it. I think it's just badass. So congratulations there. Next setup of the day, submitted by Craig. Craig's 18. He lives in Ireland. He loves the show, and he hopes that you'll continue to make it. Yes, I will continue to make it until I die, which might be soon. We never know. And then he said, let me do some explaining the monitor that is placed on my speakers and Lenovo touchscreen all-in-one PC. The reason that it's placed there is due to the fact that I'm studying multimedia animation and games design. I use this as displacement for coding. And okay, there's like a jet plane going over now. That's cool. Thanks, America, you dick.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. Jeez. But yeah, so okay, he sort of explained all that there. But taking a look at it, let's see, are these new photos? Okay, yeah, okay. So kind of an overwhelming setup at first glance. I think everyone would agree on that. Doesn't mean it's bad. No, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's sort of, and I say this a lot, but the desk is definitely playing a big factor here, because look at that leg room, and then look how he has to have the attachment piece to sort of make everything flow together. It's just sort of a mess, and he's got artwork behind it, but it's like, why? Because it's just being covered, so when you're sitting there, you don't even see it. Then he's got this shelf that's a completely different color to the left that's just packed to the max. I mean, straight up, all over, every inch has something on it. So, easy way to fix it? Well, I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily an easy way to fix it with the arrangement that he has now, because even if he was to get a longer desk, he still has this weird placement of a shelf where I think the shelf should be on a complete different wall altogether and maybe condensed down a little bit. And he has some cool stuff on the shelf that could go on a small shelf above the new desk, and he should center the desk to the wall, and it'd be really nice if he has the room to do so. But he's got like a sound system on the shelf. I think that's stupid. Really, it's just odd. He's got cool stuff though. You know, I like the tablet, I like the turntables and all that stuff. Really nice. It's just, it's not going to work with this desk, and I don't think it's going to work with the shelf being where it is. So, Craig, that is what I would look towards fixing. And yeah, so let's go to the next setup of the day, submitted by Ruby. No, Ruby is actually Ethan. So, hey, Ethan, I don't know if you have a problem where you don't know your name, but 14 years old, from Australia, enjoys graphic design, video editing, and a bit of gaming. Spends a lot of time playing CSGO. And yes, the keyboard is a CSGO thing. Deal with it, Matt Billy. Ha! You're funny. And then, yeah, He said, let's see, these are updated photos. So he's got new keyboard, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, taking a look at this. Ethan, my man, you got yourself a nice setup. Really, really like it, especially for being 14. I mean, you're going to get a lot of those spoiled comments, but I think people can call you spoiled. You'd be happy about it. You got yourself a nice setup. And I would like to know what's going on with the TV, if it's focused on, I guess, because this looks like it would be your bedroom. Maybe it's easy to see from far back. Otherwise, one, it's a little too high to really use with your setup. Actually, very high. And it has no tilt. So it's like kind of like a picture frame, which is cool in theory, but not usable for the setup. And it seems to be set up with the PC, hence the wallpaper, which is making me wonder. But maybe you just did it for the sake of the photo. But I like how the cables are not in sight. I like that. The picture frames, although not very overwhelming, they're just there and they're cool and they kind of go with what you're working with. So I like that. The knife, that's cool. In some scenarios, I say headphone stands on the desk don't work, and I think this is one of them because it's like covering part of the monitor. It's really at the edge, really easy to knock off. This is where an attachment to the desk, whether it's adhesive or a clamp or something like that, is going to really help. Microphone, that's good. You could easily push it off to the side. I like it. And really the underside of the desk is cool. PC, I get it. You want it to be a little bit angled to show off the not the cables, to show off the inside, but you see the little bit of the cables. We have like the Ethernet cord running along the floor there. And then the right side of the furniture, like I'm not really going to knock it. I'm not a big fan of it necessarily, but clean it up a little bit. But focus on your setup. It's nice. It's a great setup. And for being 14, I mean, you got it going on. You're definitely lucky nonetheless. So that's going to do it for that setup. But let's go to the next one. Next one of the day, submitted by Chrley. Chrley is 24 from North Carolina. He's a generator technician by trade, and he's always been into building his own computers just for the coolness factor and primarily for games. He's always been a setup freak and most importantly, a cable management freak. He goes as far as to cable manage his unseen wiring, especially in his PC. So yeah, taking a look at Chrley's setup, I mean, God, it just makes me so angry because he said that whole spiel about cable management. And again, headphone cable doesn't matter because obviously it's on your head and you don't want to tie up the cable and have to keep undoing it. But just for the sake of the photo, I would have loved if he would have just wrapped it up or unplugged the cable or just did something. But that's my first thing. A headphone stand, it's going to help. Underside of the desk, works nice. And then, yeah, obviously I'm not taking points. I still gave you a 10 on cable management because it's beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeous. But, you say the whole thing and you got to put a little bit more time into that stuff. But the overall room itself, I mean, look at the third photo. He's got, I don't necessarily like using LEDs like that because if you look in the first photo, you don't even see really any. You see like a light tint in the first photo of red, but that's it. That's rope lighting. That's not really how it's supposed to be used. But the cable management's beautiful nonetheless, and I give you props there. It's beautiful. And in the second photo, I really like how you sort of show everything you're about. You have I am the one who knocks, and you got that's not his voice. I've never even said. Yeah, I've never even seen Breaking Bad. I know people are gonna hate on me, but I love that you have that one little small table to the right side with all the fold-out stuff, and just really nice. Shows your personality. That's what I always tell people to do because no one can replicate that. Well, they could, but it'd be stupid to replicate. And then I like that you have the one light. It's bouncing off the wall in the first photo. You got TV, looks gorgeous. Single monitor. People say, yo, bro, you need triple monitors. All you need an ultra wide. I don't think so. I think in this scenario, especially since you have the TV above, I mean, the single monitor is perfect and it's a great monitor and it's really nice. I like the contrast and colors on the wall. I like the furniture color. I like how everything's very clean and to the point, and it's a beautiful setup. And yeah, seriously, major props. And yeah, cool. All right, next setup and the final setup of the day is submitted by Christopher. Christopher says, I am a German student and this is my setup. I'm sorry for the cable mess, but I hope you can see I tried. And he's a huge fan. Thank you for the support. And in his free time, he plays tennis and watches my videos. Hashtag Flamingo Squad. Thank you. He's 13 years old. So yeah, I mean, take a look at the second photo. This guy went around with some masking tape and was like, I'll fix it. I'll make it work. And it didn't really work, but no worries there, man. You pick yourself up a Signum, put it more close to the to the butt end of the PC, get all the spewed out cables to sort of fill into there rather than to the left side where we're sort of seeing them all now. Get them to feed into the Signum. You don't need to like cable management to have a Signum. A Signum is more so just focused on being sort of the floor in the air, so it just makes it hide. But taking a look at the actual first photo, we didn't really get a far back shot. We can't really see what's going on, but it sort of looks like cemented walls, like the like in school, throwback to that. And it's got like ripped posters on the wall and stuff like that. Interesting, but the actual setup is really nice. You got a great sort of monitor setup, keyboard, mouse. You know, you got your Razer swag, obviously, so you're big into that. And monitor arrangement, definitely interesting. The one on the far right, don't really think that it's 100% necessary. It's sort of hurting more than helping, but if you really need that extra real estate on your screens, then go for it, keep it. I'm not gonna cry. Speaker placement, also a little odd. You have one off to the far right, and then you have one off to the far left, but laying down. It's okay to put it in front of your monitors. If you put it where the bezels meet, it's not really going to cover up too much space. If anything, if you want both of them laying down, then have both of them laying down, but closer and more centered towards your ears. So that's what I would do. But I think, you know, for what you're working with, man, Chris, it's a great setup. It's just, you know, you over time, you're going to get more money that you could put towards it. You're 13. Don't think just because everybody else on this episode that's been 13 seems to have, you know, millions of dollars spewing out of their ass, that you should also have that. It's not about the amount of money you spend on it, but it's about the way you use it. So spend the $10, get a Signum, fix that up. It's more about presentation than it is, you know, what you're actually using. So definitely work on that, Chris. It's not a bad setup by any means. You'll make it work. But let's get into the scores. First set of the day, Lukas, he got a 66, Robert, 68, Tim, 78, Liam, 92, Rico, 90, Craig, 72, Ethan, 80, Chrley, 94, and Christopher, 70. So Chrley came in first place, Liam came in second, and that's going to do it for this episode of Pimp My Setup. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I know a lot of people have been saying that, you know, some people have been saying, Matt, these episodes are too quick. Well, if they're too quick, then I'll come up with something. I'll fix it. But, you know, I like doing it by myself most of the time. So that's just kind of how the bowl's going to roll for a little. And, yeah, we'll have some co-hosts sooner or later. But that's going to do it for this episode of Pimp My Setup. Thank you so much for watching. And I will catch you on the flippity flop.